Today's objective is to calculate the zeros, new word, the axis of symmetry, and the vertex of a parabola. First, let's calculate the axis of symmetry and the vertex for the following quadratic. Y equals negative x squared plus 4x minus 6. And remember, this right here is the formula for axis of symmetry. All right, the first thing we need to do is label A, B, and C. So A here is -1, B is 4, and C is -6. I'm going to plug these values in to this formula. So I'll have x equals -4 over 2 times -1. This will give me x equals -4 over -2, which will give me x equals 2. That is my axis of symmetry. Axis of symmetry is x equals 2. Now let's find my vertex. To find my vertex, I'm going to substitute 2 in for x. This will give me negative parentheses squared plus 4 parentheses plus -6. All I've done is removed the x's and placed and just put parentheses where the x's are. Now inside those parentheses, I'm going to put my 2. And this negative is kind of making me upset. So I'm going to put an invisible -1 in front of it. Now I'm going to do my step to prevent myself from getting falcon punched. So I'm going to write out this part in expanded form. Bring down my -1 times 2 times 2 plus 4 times 2 plus -6. This is my, I'm going to label that. So don't get falcon punched. Make sure you write that in expanded form. And now I'm going to simplify this line. So -1 times 2 is -2 times 2 is -4 plus 4 times 2, which is 8, plus -6. -4 plus 8 is 4 plus -6, and y equals -2. So that's the y coordinate of my vertex. My vertex then is going to be 2, comma, -2. Do this one. All right, first thing, let's write down A, B, and C. A here is 2, B is -12, and C is 22. Let's find our axis of symmetry. So x equals -12 over 2 times 2. Notice here I have -12 because I'm looking for a negative b. My b is negative, so -12, which would give me +12. Over 4, x equals 12 divided by 4 is 3. This is my axis of evil, just kidding, of symmetry. Then I'm going to take my axis of symmetry 3, and I'm going to plug it in for all of my x's. This will give me y equals 2 parentheses minus 12 parentheses plus 22, and I'll sub my 3 in for those parentheses. Now I'm going to avoid getting falcon punched. And then I'm going to multiply. 2 times 3 is 6 times 3 is 18. -12 times 3 is -36. Bring down my 22. And I'll add. 18 plus -36 is -18. Oops. Plus 22. And negative 18 plus 22 is going to give me 4. So my axis of symmetry is 3. My y-coordinate of my vertex is 4. This is my vertex. All right, now this question is asking us to locate the axis of symmetry, to locate the vertex, and to locate the zeros. This is our new vocabulary word. First, let's locate the axis of symmetry. What is the formula for the axis of symmetry for this parabola? Here, our axis of symmetry is going to be a vertical line that cuts through our parabola and makes it symmetrical. And that vertical line cuts through my x-axis at 1. Therefore, my equation for axis of symmetry is x equals 1. Now let's find my vertex. My vertex is going to be that point right on top, and the x-coordinate of my vertex is going to be my x-coordinate of my axis of symmetry. My y-coordinate will be 9. Now let's find the zeros. 0 is a nickname for x-intercept. So when the value of the function is 0, when we are on our x-axis, what are those 2 points? So we have 2 zeros here. One of my zeros is there. The other one is right there. So those 2 points right there are my zeros. So one of my zeros is 2. And I'm going to write these in brackets. 2, comma, 4. Those are my 2 zeros. Notice I wrote these in brackets, not in parentheses. If I wanted to write them as points, I would do 2, comma, 0. And 4, comma, 0. Those are my 2 zeros. All right, locate the axis of symmetry, vertex, and zeros on your own. Do all 3 of those things. Axis of symmetry is going to be cutting through my parabola. Oops, that's a horrible vertical line. I apologize, but oh, that's so bad. Okay, yeah, this is my axis of symmetry. And the equation for that axis of symmetry is x equals 1. It's a vertical line that cuts through my x-axis at 1, so its equation is x equals 1. Now vertex, right there, its coordinates are 1, negative 4. And my zeros, I've got a 0 here, and I've got a 0 here. My zeros are negative 1 and 3. Those 2 points are my zeros. Okay, this is what the problems are going to look like in Khan Academy. The following function is quadratic. Therefore, its graph will be a parabola. Find the zeros of the function in ascending order. That means that we want lowest or least to greatest order. Now, to find the zeros, to find my x-intercepts, I'm going to set this part, my y value, equal to 0. So my equation will be 0 equals t squared plus 4x plus 3. And I set it equal to 0 because, as we can see here, when we're looking for the points on our quadratic where that have y coordinates of 0. So over here, we're going to be looking for points that have y coordinates of 0. So I'm going to take my y variable, my h of t, my output, and I'm going to just make it 0 and solve for t. And I could do this in multiple methods. My two methods that I can find my zeros are by factoring, or I can use the quadratic equation. It doesn't matter. They're both equations. Nope, just quadratic equation. They're both equally good methods. This one's really easy to factor though. So 0 equals t plus 3 and t plus 1. This, remember, factoring is just making two sets of parentheses that multiply together to give you this. And when I do that, I can see that this would give me t squared. 1t plus 3t's would give me my 4t, and 3 times 1 would give me the 3. And then I'm just going to set both of the factors equal to 0. And then I'll just solve. So my zeros in ascending order from least to greatest would be -3 here and -1 here. Now let's find the coordinates to the vertex. First, I'm going to find my axis of symmetry, and I'm going to do that by taking my formula for axis of symmetry, x equals -b all over 2a, and plugging in the values from my equation. So here, A is 1, B is 4, C is 3. So -4 all over 2 times 1. X equals -4 over 2. X equals -2. Now we just plug in and find the other coordinate. So y equals, or h of t, same thing, this is just y. Y equals blank squared plus 4 times parentheses plus 3, -2, -2. Y equals -2 squared is +4 plus -8 plus +3. Y equals this plus this is 7, -1. And complete the equation for parabola's line of symmetry. That's just going to be t equals x coordinate of vertex -2. Done.